CIPS.
Africa. From Cape to Cairo, Lagos to Nairobi, we are uniting professionals, thought leaders, and change agents across industries, borders, and cultures. As leaders in procurement, we are guided by global standards and deep local insights, understanding that procurement is not just about processes, it's about purpose, partnership, and creating sustainable value across Africa's diverse economies. Whether you're navigating complex supply chain challenges, spearheading transformation in your organization, or just beginning your procurement journey, you're in the right place.
The wait is almost over.
SIPS Africa Connect and Engage podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supplies podcast series. It is such a great pleasure to have you with us, and thank you very much for choosing us. So, in this episode, we're going to be speaking about the importance of professionalization, more so when it comes to procurement and getting people while they are young, equipping them with the necessary skill set so that when they do go into the world of work, there isn't a disjointment or a disconnect between what you studied and what you will be experiencing. And to help us with this conversation in terms of preparing young people for the space of work, we have with us Shaheen de Vries. He is with CIPS as well as Gaolatlhe Medupe. He is with Botswana Accountancy College. I'm not going to tell you about them. We're going to allow our guests to let you know about themselves. A big thank you to you, gentlemen. Shaheen, let's start with you. If you can introduce yourself, please, to our audience and tell them a little bit about the work that you do.
100%. Thank you, Dudu, I think, for having me here. It's really a pleasure. So, yeah, guys, Shaheen de Vries, Cape Town, born and bred. I've been in Johannesburg now for about, I think, just over 10, 11 years, having a ball. I've started my career within finance space. I've been in finance pretty much all of it until recently where I've had a request from our CFO to say, hey, Shaheen, need some help. Do you mind acting? I'm like, sure, I'm a natural born actor.
In a drama, in a
so I'm
series?
very much ready for it, but acting in the capacity of taking care of procurement.
Right.
And it's been a couple of months that I've been heading up the division, having a lot of fun, learning vastly wide variety of aspects. So yeah, that's me, finance, over to procurement currently, and looking forward to the journey ahead.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Shaheen. Gaolatlhe Medupe, please introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us a little bit about the work that you do.
All right, my name's Gaolatlhe Medupe from Botswana Accountancy College. My primary role, I'm a teacher. That's what I call myself. At the Botswana Accountancy College, I'm a portfolio manager, enterprise risk and supply chain management. This is an academic portfolio where I'm managing all the programs that are enterprise risk related, as well as programs that are supply chain related. And CIPS qualification programs is one of the programs under my portfolio, and that's what brings me here today. So at the Botswana Accountancy College, I've joined Botswana Accountancy College in 2014. And prior moving into academics, I was in corporate services as a procurement specialist, where I was doing day-to-day procurement activities. But now, my new role as a senior lecturer and a portfolio manager is to nurture talent, is to develop the young professionals who are joining the profession, to show them the direction. And one of the things that I've done for CIPS also, for the past decade, I've been active in the CIPS Botswana branch. I have served 7 years as a committee member of the branch and 3 years as a branch chair. I think that was until late last year. So I can say I've been a branch member for CIPS Botswana for the past 10 years. And it's a pleasure joining the conversation today.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for that introduction. Shaheen, when we take a look at procurement, right, in supply chains, what is the role of procurement? Is it just about purchasing?
Definitely not. How much time do we have? It's not there. Okay, but guys, if you want an answer from more of a finance professional and my objective or viewpoint of what I think procurement is ensuring, I'm going to use your word that you've touched on, that we source ethically, sustainably, and we put the company's needs as the first priority. I think, in a nutshell, that is what it is for me. Obviously, from a governance compliance aspect, there are various different legs within the sourcing space that we are delving into to ensure, from a company's perspective, we keep everything above board.
And we've heard, especially during the conference that just wrapped up in August, that ethical procurement is good for business. Mr. Medupe, sir, when people walk through the doors of your institution, more so young people, is there an understanding of what it is that they have signed up for? And why is that important, I guess?
Yeah, it's very important that when students walk into the Botswana Community College, who are enrolled to read for the supply chain or CIPS qualification programs, they have to understand really what they have gotten themselves into. You know, some they come with diverse reasons. Some they are encouraged by their parents because their parents love or they are in the profession, but they themselves they don't know what procurement is all about. Some they have read, they have researched, but we, as the facilitators, as the instructors, it's our duty to make sure that we have, you know, a fair conversation with them so that they may understand what really procurement is and what really are they getting themselves into. What is it to be a corporate buyer? What challenges are there in the profession? And what impact needs to be done in the profession? Yeah.
And because, rather, Mr. Medupe, we've also heard that we've got public procurement and we've got private procurement, Shaheen. What is it that young people need to understand more so about private procurement?
Key difference in private companies or organizations, you are not working for the people. You are ultimately working for a board, for shareholders, that you are trying to always keep abreast by ensuring that these parties, such as the board of directors, the chief executives, we are keeping the best interest of the company always at heart and acting out to the best policy and principles. But I think from a public perspective, you know, it's a whole different beast. And I think during the conference, actually, we spoke about plus minus 3,000 regulations that's currently in place. And I think to myself, geez, that's quite daunting, man.
Yeah.
How do I always have a control check in place to ensure that I'm complying with all of those 3,000 regulations? And I think, Medupe, from your end, how you educate the learners from your institution to always be ahead of that. Can you maybe explore on that? Sorry to do.
Yeah,
We're in this
yeah. Because, you know, procurement is so diverse. You can join procurement in the public sector, in the private sector, or in the third sector. So even the syllabus is designed so that it can target all sectors. So we train and equip students so that they can be able to participate in all the sectors, because they are going to get employment from all these sectors. So we have to differentiate these sectors. What's peculiar about the public sector? Like Shaheen has said, the public sector is a highly regulated sector. That is where a lot of money is, because government, you know, they are spending billions when it comes to tenders. So that is where the money is, and that is where the private sector is driven. You know, so you need to, you know, sensitize the students on these differences so that when they get into the public sector, they know that they are getting into a more regulated space whereby they are accounting to everyone. Because in the public sector, everyone is a shareholder. Everybody is paying tax and undertaking procurement in the public sector. It simply means that you are expensing the taxpayers' money. Then when you move to the private sector, you will find that the private sector is less regulated. If I'm the CEO and I need a car, I can just simply say, get out, get me a Range Rover. You know, but in the public sector, even if we know we need a Range Rover, we will not say that. We will have to beat around the bush because that is per the book. We need to state that maybe we need an SUV, four-wheel drive with aircon. We need not to say the brand. Then with the third sector, for example, the third sector is also peculiar. Because now there you are dealing with the money, or you are expensing the money of the donors. So there's more accountability. Because if you are dealing with a third sector organization, which is a membership organization like CIPS, for example, you have to account to what are you doing with the members' money. If we are the donors to the third sector and you are the procurer, you need to account to us. What have you done with the money that we have donated? Because with the third sector, the donors or the sponsors, they are doing it for a particular cause. So is that cause fulfilled? That is the question. So that is the peculiarity that we sensitize the students with, so that at the end of the day, they know and they are clear when they go into a certain sector, they know how it operates, and they have the expectations.
Oh, okay. So please forgive me. I just need a clarity on this point. So there's an understanding of the public sector, the private sector. So the third sector, is that the sector then with the donors?
The third sector is the not-for-profit sector, like an NGO. If you are going to work for the Red Cross, for the CIPS, because CIPS is a charitable organization as well. All those type of organizations that are not for profit, non-governmental organizations. Those are the third sector organizations.
Shaheen?
Mr. Medupe, I just need to tell you there, my CEO will never ask for a Range Rover. But I think to give some credibility as well to CIPS, because this is where the professional body has came in and gave us all a framework whereby we operate in, and it's giving us the boundaries to ensure that we are procuring ethically with sustainability in mind. We are keeping everybody's interest abreast to make sure everything is in alignment with what our chiefs, what our board would expect from us. So just credibility to be given to CIPS on this one.
Why is ethics important, Shaheen? Why?
Why is
So
ethics?
a young person going into procurement
Yeah.
is thinking, shoo, okay, what do I check out for when I look for a job?
Yeah.
Do I match the skills? Is the package good enough for me? Will it afford me a certain quality of life, etc., etc.? Then the issue of ethics is not always necessarily clear on the job spec. So why is it important?
100%. It's a very dangerous and I think loaded question to do. When it comes to ethics and morals, we are expected as professionals to adhere to best practices and to ensure that we operate and be sound with our decision making and what we act out for our organizations. When we speak about ethical aspects, ABCs come to mind, and your associated risk for bribery and corruption. And we as professionals, we need to draw a very clear and definite line that everybody can see, everybody is aware of, so that it still keeps us safe from an organizational perspective. Because ultimately, if any organization is to be found wanting, where they have not practiced ethical sourcing, the dangers from a reputational perspective, I think number one, from a strategic partners and suppliers doing and engaging with, engaging in business with that organization, you start to ask a few questions, and ultimately your chief executive officer reporting to that board needs to be able to account for everything that we have done from a expenditure perspective. So very key, very principal, and I think it keeps us honest to ensure we do the right thing when nobody is watching.
Yeah.
Which then leads to my next question, Mr. Medupe, because with the young people that walk through the doors of your institution, how do you teach ethics, right? It's that question of when you finally have found somebody to have done something and they are found wanting, how do you legislate that kind of behavior, right? When do you press charges? What do you do? You know what I mean? So how do you teach ethics?
Yeah.
Is that a fair question even to ask, given its importance in
you
in
know,
the
it's not
profession?
a fair question. Ethics are not taught. That's where we start. Let me just give you a few scenarios. Sometimes when students are coming and they are new, I'll just ask them, why did you choose to do procurement? One gave me a very honest answer. He told me that I chose procurement because that is where money is. I asked which money. I was thinking about salary. He said, no, you can make more money. There are tips there in procurement. You know, that is the perception that is here. Because this new student, he knows that, okay, maybe we can receive a bribe or what, but maybe he's not well sensitized on ethics, right? Then when we get to the book, on a day one of class, we define procurement. Then what is procurement? Procurement is acquiring goods, services, and supplies by any means, which can be leasing, tenancy, purchasing, buying, and or stealing. Because when you are stealing,
That's
you are
in the textbook?
procuring. Yeah, it's there in the textbook.
my.
And stealing is procuring. Because if I take Shaheen's phone, it's mine. The title has been transferred. Even if by force, I've procured because it's now mine.
Oh my.
You know, but now coming to corporate buying, we cannot overemphasize stealing because we talk due diligence, we speak of ethics, you know, then we say ethics cannot be taught because ethics is you. It just need awareness. We don't teach ethics, but we raise awareness on ethics. You know, there is a say that a hallmark of corruption, you know, the hallmark of corruption is it is corruption if it's intentional. So that means you cannot say, I did corruption by mistake. Can you be corrupt by mistake? It's something that is purposeful. It's something that is intentional. Even when we are doing it, in your mind, you know that it's wrong if it's not right. When you are receiving bribe, you know that it's wrong. When you are conflicted, maybe let's say in a tender process, you know if you are conflicted or not. And you know whether it's right to recuse yourself or not. Even if you can convince us that you are conflicted, but you don't have to recuse yourself, or that you are not at all conflicted. If you are conflicted, it's something that is in you. So it takes your conscience to say, I will do what is right or I will do what is wrong. It's a matter of choice. It's not a subject for learning.
Premeditated corruption.
Yeah.
Shaheen, when we come to you, we were talking a little bit earlier on off camera, and you were telling us about this incredible program that you run at CIPS, where you actually get young people to come through an internship program so that they get the real life experience. Please expand on that for us.
Wow, definitely. So I think maybe it's worth to dedicate some time in maybe explaining the problem, right? So the problem, and Medupe, please feel free to interject anytime, because I think this is your area of expertise. And earlier when you were a panelist, I actually posed one of the questions to you.
Yeah.
So what we're currently experiencing in general, and this is just not only focused to a procurement space, general, company-wide, all different BUs. Learners come well educated. I know everything there is to know in this textbook about the specific area and space. I'm ready. You step into your workplace, you get tasked with your first activity. What do? There is still for me a large gap from bridging between educational knowledge and application of that in an actual workspace. And that's why I spoke to Dudu earlier, and I've mentioned some of our initiatives. What we've been trying to do is we've been partnering with certain institutions so that whilst these individuals are busy studying, we said, let's have mentorships and internships where we are bringing them fresh while they're busy with their studies into CIPS and provide them that working experience so that they can literally see how things are done on the floor. Very different to what that textbook would operate or what that textbook actually tells us.
That's very sentimental. That's very sentimental because mentorship is the key. Because through mentorship, that's when you are able to discover talent. That's where you are able to discover weaknesses and
Yeah.
strength of a student. Like Shaheen is saying, it's very important. You know, he's very right. You can get a very bright student doing well in class, but when he gets to the workplace, he cannot apply himself to the environment of the workplace. You see, then you get an average scholar, average in class, but in the workplace, he can do the thing.
Yeah.
You know, he can apply himself. So what do we do now as institutions of learning is through mentorship. You know, at the Botswana Accountancy College recently, we have launched the Supply Chain Student Society, because we want the students to be the ones driving this agenda of collaboration with the industry, so that they can engage with the industry the way they want and they feel it's relevant to them. Like they are free to, you know, conduct events, get speakers for themselves, and decide on what to talk about, which companies to visit. As the college, what do? We just support the value that they are doing. We just support because we are seeing the value in their activities. So that mentorship, the collaboration, it's very important. The industry and the university's collaboration, it's very, very important in nurturing talent and developing a procurement, future procurement professionals that we so desire. Because if you are going to operate in silos, there will be a big gap, because theory is not practice. So you need people in the industry to mentor through internships, through talking. Sometimes we do guest lectures, because sometimes it takes one just to listen to a Shaheen story, associate with it, build from that story, and then you'll be a better, greater person.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
couldn't agree with you more, because Shaheen, there was a lot of talk, especially on the last day of conference, about soft skills, right? And on the first day of conference, we heard about the importance of always upgrading yourself.
Yeah.
So when you're in this profession, you have to be curious. You have
Yeah.
to pay attention, you have to follow up, you have to want to know certain things so that you upskill yourself. How important is that for a young person to take into consideration? I guess that one thing that will really set you apart.
Having that energy, having that spark, wanting to do more. And I want to still leverage off of the educational aspect. We need it. We spoke about the 3,000 policies, regulation. We don't know it all. We depend on the new entries into the workplace coming fresh from universities and institutions like yours, whereby they're bringing in that wealth of knowledge of the current state of affairs. And myself, I learn from them. But to your question, what do I give back? And that's where it comes with the soft skills, where you need to panel beat to see, sitting and engaging with the supplier as an example. It's not just about defining the commercial terms. It's about understanding that customer, understanding their journey, understanding what it is that they want, where they came from. And those are the type of softer aspects that I think necessarily won't be taught from an educational perspective, but that is how you grow while you're learning on the job trade and having that physical training to bring out that little spark and wanting to understand, why are we doing this? When are we doing this again? Why do you want to do this with me? Those are the type of questions I think we need to start asking and develop that social aspect in understanding why we're doing procurement or sourcing.
So now we move from young people to higher level people who are in the workspace, right? Now it's a practical session where you're negotiating for that contract. You highlighted the importance of confidence, of having confidence when you have a seat around the table, to be able to push and pull so that you get the best outcomes, because you never know what's on the other side. People come prepared as well to meet you at your point of need, but if you don't go there, you'll never get it. Why is that important?
Why is that important? So your statement is, if you don't go there, you won't get it. I think by nature, any commercial discussions, right, revolves around being a little bit bold, right? Pushing that boundaries. I think sometimes we all come out of varsity, even sometimes professional procurement individuals that's been in the industry. We sometimes accept, yes, that term is correct. I'll accept your 60-day payment terms, or I'll accept that pricing and the quality, etc.
Yeah.
But we need to be bold, and even in today's session, I think I've mentioned it to say, let's push the envelope by saying, that price of yours, I know you've built in CPI in that price already.
Yeah.
I know if you're an international offshore company that we are engaging with, I know you've got some FX risk built into the pricing that you're quoting me on. So if we do not push back, we are not going to be on the winning side of this. I know winning maybe sounds harsh, but ultimately we want to get to a win-win scenario. But those suppliers sometimes come with everything loaded, and you're sitting there around that table fearful. And I think that's what we need to get rid of. Push the boundaries, ask the questions. You've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, you see, boldness
Yeah.
can be brought by knowledge. So knowledge gives you the confidence, such that even at the table you have got something to say.
Yeah.
You can interrogate on issues. What will you be interrogating on if you don't know? So that is where continuous professional development is very important. To say that to be a professional, I was asking people, what is a professional? Somebody told me a professional is somebody who looks like you, who comes to work on a suit every day, looking smart and all. I said, no, that's not enough for a professional. My definition of professional is somebody who knows something. If I'm saying Shaheen is a medical professional, that means he knows what to do when it comes to my health. If you're a procurement professional, you need to know what to do when it comes to health. So a professional is somebody who brings a solution because of knowledge on a subject. So you are not a professional enough if you don't know. So that is why it's very important that as professionals, we continue on the track of CPD. CIPS as a professional body is encouraging its members to undertake CPD on annual basis. And it gives them a platform to track their CPD, to manage their CPD. Take, for example, I've graduated with the CIPS qualification programs a decade ago. During that time, within our syllabus, there was nothing that talks to AI. I guess that's the same with him. There was nothing about blockchain.
Yeah.
There wasn't blockchain there. There was nothing about robotics, about ESG, about big data. Those are the contemporary themes that we meet today. But where are we? We are here. We have to work with those. So how do we level up? That means we have to continuously learn, keep abreast, so that we keep the relevance as professional.
Absolutely. You mentioned the acronym CPD. What does that mean?
CPD is continuous professional development. Yeah, that's a prerequisite for all professional, meaning that learning does not stop, because things that we have learned 10 years ago, they are outmoded. You need to move and evolve with the industry. We have moved from the first industrial revolution, second industrial revolution, third industrial revolution. Now we are in the fourth, fifth industrial revolution. So that means the industry is not stopping for us. The industry is perpetually changing. So that means as it changes, we need to level up, change, know the things of now and the future.
Because that saying, evolve or die, you
Yeah.
have to take
Yes.
personal responsibility for
Yeah,
your
I think
career
I think
development.
I liked from the conference today. One of the commentators talked about the 21st century illiterate, to say that the 21st century illiterate is not the one who doesn't know how to read and write, but is the one who fails to adapt in this evolution. Yeah.
Absolutely. Shaheen, as we are about to wrap up the conversation, I do wonder, why have you stayed in this profession? Because the theme is connect and engage.
Yes.
What are you connecting and engaging to? Is there a vision, one personally, one continentally?
100%, and I think kudos to CIPS once again for providing this platform and giving us the ability to connect and engage the way we're currently doing. And I think what CIPS is trying to do with these sessions is pave the way for future procurement professionals. We all face daily tasks, business as usual. We're faced with challenges, all of them quite the same or similar. What these opportunities, like these conferences, bringing towards us is, I'm going to have a chat with my fellow colleague here and say, this is my problems. He might have embraced or had that problem in the past, and he can share that knowledge. So that knowledge transfer, I think, is key. And I think that is what these platforms from a connect and engage perspective provides us. That's more from a business perspective. And I think you also asked me personally. I have mentioned that, yes, I was more from a finance perspective, and I've been acting in the procurement space for several months, and I'm enjoying it. I love the commercial aspect by sitting around this table and having these engaging conversations. I enjoy the push and pull that we spoke about earlier, and seeing how far can I squeeze. Guys, ultimately, right, we all report into a board, we all report into our chiefs. I want to go to my CFO and say, I've scored and gained you X amount to your EBITDA directly. Now, interesting point. Sorry, I know we're closing down.
We've got time.
But you mentioned now that. All right, let me refresh. Okay. Procurement is a support function. Finance as well. We are not revenue generating units within a company. And to your question is that I've had this conversation with my team, and I said, guys, we're actually one step ahead of finance. And I know my CFO might give me a dirty look right now, but our ability and our contribution from a procurement space to hit that bottom line EBITDA directly, I think is amazing. And I think that is what I enjoy the most, where for now I've got access to not manipulate, but assist in getting a better EBITDA, getting cost savings for the company. And those are the type of commercial discussions that I think I enjoy from a personal perspective right now.
So they say what you save
Yes, sir.
is what's added in the bottom line. So as you are saving,
100%.
shredding those costs,
Yeah.
you are increasing the bottom line. And also, I should encourage you to request for a bonus.
Of course,
There we go.
definitely.
The savings.
Definitely.
There we go. And
I
then
hope my CFO is listening.
Yeah, definitely.
we can send him a link. Nudge, nudge. Mr. Medupe, sir, as we close the conversation, I think the
Yes.
same question for you. I mean, you started off by saying that you are a teacher, and many would very well argue that that is a calling. I think each and every single one of us can remember our teachers from our formative years that have really had an impact in our lives. And that can either be positive or negative, right? And so why do you do the work that you do personally and on a continental level?
Teaching is it's a calling, like you are putting it. It's something that you will do even if you are not paid, because you get better when you teach. Because the more you teach, the more you learn. And you cannot teach that which you do not know. So the fact that you have to go and teach it, you have to learn it first. So as a teacher, you are perpetually learning. And the reward that we get from teaching is the one that I'm teaching getting better. And is he better? Is he getting better than me? So there's more fulfillment and more reward if I see more upcoming professionals doing it better than I will do it.
Sure.
That's my reward.
Sure.
And that's how I continue doing it.
Can I be sentimental? You mentioned the word sentimental a little bit earlier
Yes,
on, and
yes.
share this with our viewers, right? Guys, if there's anybody that can give you grace, it's these two men. Let me tell you what happened. So I was tasked with the work of having to introduce Mr. Medupe, and I used an incorrect name. There's something that we were talking about a little bit earlier on, and I don't know if I can share it with you, and if we can share with our
Please do.
viewers, and
Yeah.
if we don't, then if you're not comfortable, we can always like just cut it out. But I need to tell you that Shaheen is here, whereas he needed to be at his son's soccer match. His 4-year-old is playing a game. This is his second game. This is 4-year-old's second game,
We
right?
should
Yeah.
go there now.
Right now, I'm still talking too much. And so I guess I'm also sending a shout out to Shaheen's baby. And thank you very much for allowing us to borrow your dad when you have such an important thing to do. And I think if there's anything which is a big takeaway for young people, agility is quite important. Giving grace is quite important, especially with the work that you do. We heard from the executive director of BAC, who was saying that there's so much power in the procurement profession, but with that power comes responsibility. And I guess that's also something that you will exercise. It's a muscle that you'll exercise as you go along in your career. And as the world moves and evolves, so too, as we have seen over the past couple of years, yes, artificial intelligence has been in the making, or been there, the concept, for so many years, but we're getting to see a real acceleration, I guess, right now. What does digitization, Shaheen, mean, especially for this space?
Was a hot topic, definitely, for the past 2 days at the conference. I think we had one speaker that purposefully wanted to unsettle 300-400 people in this conference, and I'll share,
Intentionally.
and I'll share what his views were. So he's saying Gen AI can perform all of our functions. So we beg to then ask the question, what is my role and where do I fit in? I've actually asked him a question during the panel discussion, and I was very honest to say and open, I am very afraid and scared of what AI can do. I made an example in the room, and I noted that if we are 300-400 colleagues sitting here, and we all write a paper on sourcing, we feed it into a machine. What did we just do? We gave that machine
Information.
that intellect of
That
400
IP.
people
Yeah.
by just pressing enter.
Yeah.
And now that machine, I don't know, guys, I feel inferior to that machine.
Yeah.
Because from a technical aspect, click of a button, 400 sourcing papers, at a blink of an eye, done. So, and we engage further on the topic, and we're asking ourselves as professionals, where are we heading? And what can we do to better ourselves to master AI? Another, quite a joke that went across in the room is, what is the difference between us and AI? And I believe it was Andrew that said, we are human.
Yeah. We can feel something.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So to that point, and I think I will just elaborate on it a little
Yes,
bit more to do. Sitting around a table, if I'm squeezing for better commercial terms, I can look you in the eye and I can assess your emotion, how you are feeling. I will know I can push a little bit more or back off.
True.
And I think from a human capital perspective, there will always be a demand for people in the procurement space to manage that function. Yes, we will leverage off AI. We will allow tedious, routine type of work to be done and be automated. But what that is actually doing is it's creating hours, man hours, it's alleviating the teams to not sit there and process. So I can ask my team members, how do we strategically source different? That is the golden opportunity for me. Also, sorry, we touched on our ethical aspects as well. If a machine is doing it, you are drastically reducing the risk of manipulation.
Very true.
So there's plenty opportunities, but I just think for us to always have that one step ahead or have that advantage is we need to understand how to utilize AI to the best of our ability to fill in our procurement space.
Yeah.
I know from a sustainability perspective, there's also quite a few things.
Yeah.
Medupe.
But I want to just maybe reiterate the AI issue. I want to associate myself with a view that says that AI will not replace humans.
Not yet or ever.
Ever. It will never replace humans. But those who will survive the future of work are those who will adapt, learn how to work with AI. I think that is a message that we need to send to say that AI should not be our enemy. It should be our helper. As much as Google has been helping us for so long,
Sure.
now we have got a new Google in the name of AI, maybe, that we should leverage, just to enhance what we do. Earlier on I spoke about if an organization wants to hire a machine, it will hire a machine. But where a human is needed, machine cannot replace. We have feelings. We have to make, we manage emotions. Those are the things that we are special about as human beings. Yeah.
And Shaheen, to Shaheen's point about sustainability, because yes, AI was a big talking point. Sustainability was also a big talking point. And so I do wonder maybe what your perspective is on that, and not only why it is important, but necessary, sustainable procuring.
Yeah, sustainability has got so many diverse elements. If we can do it now, can we keep it in the future? If it's profit that we are after now, will we be in a position to be profitable even in the future? That is the sustainability. In the recent past, we talked of sustainability as the triple bottom line: profit, planet, people. How are we sourcing green? Those are the key issues now. The green sourcing, because we are talking of global warming. So as procurement, how do we contribute in that conversation? How do we feature? So the world is looking at us to engage on green sourcing. For the sake of our planet, we talk of social or the people aspect. What is our impact? What is our role as procurement? Most of the speakers in today's conference, they were talking about building and developing the local supply chains. That is this people aspect, because if we develop the local supply chains, that means we are creating employment, we are improving the livelihoods of the people around us. What is our role? To empower the communities through our sourcing strategies. What are we intentional about our initiatives of maybe, local supplier empowerment, building the local supply chain, beyond profit? Those are the sustainability issues that we need to reflect on and be intentional about as procurement professionals.
Because we're caretakers and we're going to be
Yes.
transitioning. Because Shaheen, when you speak about your nervousness around artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
I do share it. I think maybe on my side, from a perspective of, so we are the ones that feed the machine the data,
Yeah.
right? And so are we feeding, and when you talk about intellectual property, are we feeding the data to replace us or to assist us? And so how are we working with that? Which then begs the question of regulation, right? Because I think it's even countries all over the world right now are grappling with the issue of regulation. You're finding others who are doubling down, and you're finding some who are trying to find a firm footing, and then one country says, no. So how important is it for us to look at regulation from organizational perspectives as well? Is there some work that is being done? Does it look like policies? What does it look like?
It changes the playing field completely with the fact that, to your point, we are feeding all this information. Am I going to ask AI, please source water bottles for me? Now you're bringing the point of regulation. Will AI know and understand that there's certain countries, as an example, from a South African perspective, that we should not procure from. Yes, we can build it into the back end and say, stay away from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, but that key understanding of always being ahead of what, from a social economic aspect, is actually happening in the world, and that brings that ethical sourcing back into question. So, I'm comfortable. I think we'll still be around.
Yeah.
Don't know for how long, but and you said something so good right now about us feeding the information into the computers. That's, if we want to call it that way. But without us, AI doesn't really exist, does it?
We make AI.
Exactly.
100%.
We make it.
Yeah.
So we are still in control. We just need to master it.
How do we master sustainability, Mr. Medupe, sir? Because as we mentioned, it's not just about decisions for today, right? But long-term decisions. So for those also who are coming behind us, how do we master sustainability?
I think we need to normalize it in our day-to-day processes. You know, we need to engage with sustainability as culture. Like, we need to embed it into our day-to-day processes. When we are sourcing sustainably? When we are we engaging in a sustainable manner? I think that is one thing that we need to be intentional about. Have policies around, those sustainability issues, even just to, sensitize our people so that there is this ESG fluency. They need to know our principles as far as governance is concerned, as far as, ethics are concerned, as far as, social issues are concerned. So we need to be intentional about it.
On sustainability, can we simplify it, right? So some of the conversations that we have and some of the words that we use, can we simplify them for them to have a broader impact? I'll give you an example. I was recently at the High Court here in South Africa in Pretoria, and I was walking past, and there was a lady on the side of the road who was selling some chips, some narkies and stuff, and she has some of the most delicious narkies at a reasonable price at that. And so she also had a plastic bag where when you get something from her, when you are done with that narki or with your packet of chips, you put it in that plastic, right? And she didn't have to go buy a plastic. She used the plastic that was already the container for the chips, so she repurposed it. And so when you speak about us living it, can we simplify that message? Because some people can very well argue, say, well, it's what we do. It's what we do, it's what we do. But then you can walk the streets of Johannesburg, for instance, and you see litter. Do you pick it up? Can we simplify the message?
Yeah, I think building on that story of a woman who's selling, fruits and then getting the litter that comes from it, I think she can even further go and harvest the seeds. Because when we eat, whatever we leave there will be seeds there. So that means we can take those seeds, plant, so that there will be more fruits to be sold even tomorrow, next year, and years to come. So when I was taught sustainability, in Botswana we still have culture of using firewood for energy, for cooking, for heating and stuff. So you'll find that vendors are there selling wood. So that means we are cutting wood. So when sustainability was simplified for me, was to say, when we cut wood to make fire, we must cut one tree, use it now, plant another one, so that your kid will also harvest that one, plant another one for the next generation as well. So that is sustainability. Let's what benefit us today. Let's maintain it, sustain it, so that it can also benefit the future. I think that is my simplest message of sustainability.
Well done.
Yeah.
I love it.
I
think I think that hits home, and I guess we can then replicate that, because it's not just about you. That shade that you found when you walking the whole day, and you're just like, Lord, please give me shade. Find the shade. And then you cut down the tree. Give the next person that shade as well. Let them enjoy those benefits that come naturally for all of us, I guess.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, is there anything else that I've left out that you'd like for us to tackle?
Be bold and be brave.
There we go, Mr. Medupe.
Yes. Be intentional. Do the thing.
Be bold, be brave, be intentional, do the things for the pods.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
A
Love
big
it.
thank you to Shaheen Vries. He is with the Salsi. You remember what I told you
She's
about that
starting?
word? A little bit. Me
At
again.
the end, at the end, it's okay. We're almost there.
Gaolatlhe Medupe. Maybe I need to get some data for that English and top it
Yeah.
up. Gaolatlhe Medupe is with the Botswana Accountancy College. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
CIPS Africa Connect and Engage podcast.